Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a long overdue check-in for my 23 in 2023 project pan. At the beginning of the year, we chose 23 makeup products to focus on together. I took you through my drawers, my thinking and planning process, and that video was a lot of fun. I intended to come back at least quarterly and do a check-in. Have I been using these products? And this isn't a project in itself. These products have made their way into the other project pans on my channel. But we're now in August and I haven't done a check-in. So even for myself, I needed to reflect back on this list. Have I been sticking to this list? Have I even been focusing on any of these products, or do I keep getting distracted with new and shiny things? I'll let you guess which of those is true. Once again, this is the second video I'm filming right now. Apologies for the lighting. It is very late at night and we are now filming in my bedroom because of the flood that occurred, and I don't have all of my studio lights in here because that would be very hard to set up and take down, if that makes sense. But that's enough rambling. Let's hop right in to the 23 makeup items we chose out. I'm going to start off with the eyeshadow palettes. I picked 4 palettes that were quite old in my collection, and I would like to see, more pans in them, more usage. Don't want to completely forget about them because I have a very hard time with decluttering things, especially if I don't feel like I got my money's worth originally. Now these palettes are like old, like maybe 7 years old, 5 at least and older. So realistically they should retire, but I'm just not ready to do that yet. So I thought putting them in this collection of products would encourage me to reach for them. Now I will tell you, of the 4, I have only been reaching for one of the palettes, and that one I've been reaching for decently frequently. So I had in my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This has no pans in it. This was the first high-end palette that I bought for myself. This is the palette I wore on my wedding day, and it deserves to have some dips. It still smells like chocolate, so I do still hope to get to this palette at some point this year. My ABH Modern Renaissance has over 100 uses from me and 4 pans on it, and while I'm not a person that palette would work very well for, I would like to, each year, add some new pans. I'm pretty close on Golden Ochre. I should just pull this out and get some use on it. I just still really like this palette, and I don't know, I think I need to use it, obviously. And the other one I have not used this year is another palette I've tracked over 100 uses on already. This is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, and this has 1 pan in it. These shadows are very hard to hit pan on, but once again, this one I'm more willing to let go of than these 2. I still feel like I owe these palettes some more love. This one was a gift, my first high-end palette I ever owned. It was a gift for Christmas from my mom, and I think I would retire these and maybe have a bin of makeup that's nostalgic without using it. But I'm not quite ready to let it go yet. I would have loved to have more pans showing in here before I did that, but I still have not been reaching for it. The palette I have been reaching for is in my Deck of Panning project pan for the prompt In It for the Long Haul. That's my Tartelette Toasted palette, and I wanted to use this 50 times in that project and hit 2 pans. This still doesn't have any pans showing, but I have used it over 30 times this year, and I'm nearing the 100 tracked uses mark for this, so you'll see this in my project 100 uses as well. And I'm just really happy with the progress I'm making on this, with the amount I'm reaching for it, and I feel like I have fallen back in love with this palette and my love for warm tones as well, so I'll call this a success. I also put in a face palette. This is one of the older palettes in my collection. I think it's even older than some of these eyeshadow palettes. I think I've owned this one even longer. This is the Too Faced Cocoa Contour, and once again, this is a product that I feel like I haven't used enough to declutter it, because I spent, like, at the time in university, working, all that stuff, like this was a lot of money for me. And there's a dip in light cocoa especially. I hate this highlight shade, it's awful. But these three I would have loved to pan, but I haven't been reaching for this one either. In pulling all these products and putting them in a bin, I think I'm going to try and keep them in that bin, and then as roll-ins for other projects come about, maybe I can focus on this a bit more. I had 3 bronzers I wanted to focus on, which seems really ambitious, but 2 of them already had pan going into this year, and this one has a huge dip. So I hoped to finish these 2 and have pan in this one, and I haven't done any of that yet. But the Tarte, my voice is going, oh dear. Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer is looking amazing. This is in my Graveyard Project pan, so spoiler for that. So sorry. That update is coming at the very end of this month, but I'm very happy with how this is looking. It is so thin in there. It's actually crazy to look at to the side. I am feeling moderately confident I can have this finished by the end of the year. This is my NARS Laguna, which was the mini sample size that I had pan in previously. And then I added, because that bronzer is a bit too dark for me, my fair skin, I added some of the Body Shop Honey Bronzer that I also had a huge pan in to make this Franken bronzer. And this is also a spoiler for a project pan, so sorry. But I have hit pan in my repressed version, and it's very thin in there as well. I'm not super confident that I could finish both of these, and I have been kind of dividing my attention between them. This one is darker, so I've been using this one more frequently in the summer. It's also shimmery. It's more of a glowy bronzer, which I prefer in summer. And this one is matte, mostly matte. NARS Laguna has like a little bit of gold shimmer in it, but having mixed it with my Body Shop Honey Bronzer, there's not really a lot in there. That was a very loud truck. I apologize. We have like an air conditioning unit in my bedroom window, and I'm not going to like disassemble that every time I film, so I apologize because the window is technically open. It's very thin in here as well, and I have pan in both now. I would love to see like mega progress by the end of the year. I would love for this one to be gone, especially because there's so little. But if I get like a really big pan in here and feeling like I need to repress it again, and this has a big pan, maybe I'll combine them, and then I'd have to wait to finish that Franken to call both of these an empty, but I'd be okay with that. The Kevyn Aucoin Contour Powder I have not been using. I don't have that many uses left in order to hit the 100 use benchmark that I just love to hit for my powder products. And there is a bit of a dip in here, and like I said, I would have loved to hit pan in this. I don't contour all that much, though I do especially like to contour my jawline, as with age, like right here. And same on the side. I'm getting some sagging right here, and I do like to contour that area, but I haven't been reaching for this. I've actually been using the IBY Highlight and Contour palette for that purpose, because one of the shades in that is in my whole collection project pan, I believe. So I don't like having a gazillion products in front of me if it's not necessary. Like, I'm already reaching for one product in that palette, I just reach for the contour as well. But this is a good reminder to maybe pull this into a project soon. I put in my ColourPop Smoke and Whistles highlight, and I did hit pan in this, which you haven't seen yet. I will have to pop in a picture because the lighting in here is not doing it justice. I did a reel on this. I filmed every day 7 days in a row to hit pan. The dip in here is huge. This took a ton of effort, like 97 uses I think it was, until I finally hit pan in this highlighter. I don't think I will not be finishing this year, but hitting pan is a success in my book, and I will call this like a goal met for my 23 and 2023 because I really am ready to set this aside and focus on some other highlighters for the year. Tarte Party blush is in my Rolling Project 10 pan for the year, but I have not been focusing on this like I should be. I do have 53 uses on this blush, but I can still see the embossing. I'm not going to be able to hit pan on this in 100 years, I feel like, but I am using this mostly to mix in with super glowy blushes because this is quite light and matte, which neither of those are my preference right now. I like more bold. I put it in quotation marks because like not really, but for my fair skin, like in person, it's very obvious that I have a decent amount of blush on and I like a glowy cheek. So I've been using this as a mixer, which is also really like not giving me visible progress. So I have my Too Faced Peach Perfect Foundation. This is in my Graveyard Project pan as well, and I have been using it quite a lot. I am at 66 uses on this, and I'm feeling like there is some progress here, and when I look through, there is like air on here, but still foundation on the edges. You know what I mean? Because this is one of those airless pumps, so it's just going to suck all the foundation out. I won't be cutting it open or anything like that. I am wearing this foundation today and I still love it. This is the oldest foundation in my collection. It still smells like peaches. It works great. It was separating a little bit, but I shook it really well and now it seems perfectly fine. So I don't know. I don't think this will be empty by the end of the year because it's so huge, but I am working on this. I have 4 single shadows in here as well as the 4 palettes. This was mostly because these 4 products here are among the like top 10-ish oldest makeup products in my collection, like as a whole, these 4 singles. So that's why I put them on this list to like focus on these a little bit. So firstly, I have the Urban Decay single in Sin. This is my oldest makeup product, like period. This is the oldest one that I still have in my collection. And as you can see, it really doesn't have that much wear on it. I've only used this 3 times this year. This is a really beautiful shade. The quality is still amazing. It looks beautiful on the eyes, as an inner corner highlight, as a highlight on the cheeks. I actually really like it that way for like a neutrally light pink kind of color, but I need to focus on this more. One I could kind of take or leave, and when going to regather up all of these products, I was kind of like, I care so little about this, I should probably just declutter it. This is the L'Oreal Le Couleur Infallible in Hourglass Beige, and then I opened it and I was like, oh, this is pretty. And I was thinking maybe this could be like a joker item for deck of panning. I don't know, it's one of those pressed pigments, like it's kind of like a loose shadow, but then it has this stopper that kind of keeps it within the package, but once you start like messing around with it with your finger or a brush, it does kind of poof apart. There goes my dishwasher. It's so funny. Last time I filmed, my dishwasher was running as well. It's running all the time, I feel like. As a large family, we use a lot of dishes, and one of you commented that you heard it, and I didn't even realize my camera picked it up that other time, but that's actually my dishwasher, which I don't know, that just cracks me up. Now that I was looking at it again, I was like, oh, that actually is pretty and I should pull it out. So I have a specific joker item in mind if I do pull the joker in deck of panning already, but if I pull a second one, I think it'll be this guy. And then I have 2 Super Shock shadows, which I said at the beginning of the year, the 10 oldest cream products in, like cream or liquid products in my collection I need to declutter at the end of the year, no matter if they're still good-ish, like, and when I say oldest, I'm talking like they're 6, 7 years old. So they're quite old for makeup and really old for cream products. And these two Super Shocks are among those. And they came from a Kathleen Lights quad that she did, or like pack of 4. So we have Blaze here, which I hit pan on earlier this year in my Partners in Cream project pan. So I have been using this and that feels really good. This does feel pretty dry for a Super Shock shadow, and it's a really deep, like antique-y gold kind of color, which just is not my favorite. But this one I'm gonna have a really hard time letting go, so I've been using it the last week or so. I've used it twice because I really want to get some solid use on this before I let it go, and then I actually might want a dupe of this from their current range because I really do love ColourPop Super Shock shadows. And this is in the shade Kathleen Lights, and it is like a really orangey gold, and it's super vibrant and metallic on the lids, and this still feels perfect. Like, it still feels exactly how a Super Shock should feel. And this is, out of that whole list of 10 oldest cream products that I had like promised to declutter at the end of the year, this is the one thing in that list that I'm really kind of like clutching. Like, do I have to stay true to that promise and let this go because it still works fine? Then I do think of like how old this is. Like, when did Kathleen Lights do that first ColourPop collab with the 4 Super Shock shadows? Because I bought it on release because she was my favorite YouTuber to watch. This is old. And it does, actually, I don't know what does a Super Shock usually smell like. Like, that doesn't smell gross. They kind of smell like Play-Doh-y. Let me smell this one, which is a bit newer. Oh yeah, they all smell the same. So let me know what you think about this one. It did already have pan, but I have used it just the 2 times. While we are chatting about the 10 oldest cream and liquid products in my collection, I have these 4 items here, which are also ColourPop collab items. I have Lumiere, which is a Kathleen Lights collab, and I have Frida, which was Coffee Break with Danny. I have the Lippy Sticks and the Lippy Pencil, like matching for both of them, and these are super old. The Lippy Sticks, both of them have been in various projects this year. I have been using them quite a bit. I have not been using the lip liners. I've been working on another lip liner really hard, which is also among those 10 oldest cream products. And I really don't think I will be able to finish these. Lumiere is actually much shorter than Frida. I'm smelling everything now because I'm paranoid that it will have actually gone bad. These 4 products have not gone bad yet, which is crazy to me because I have ColourPop Lippy Sticks that I bought a year and a half ago or so that are bad already. And these ones are still great and they're like 7 years old, but they're lip products. And I do feel like that is getting a bit more on the gross side, but I will say the Lippy Sticks have been getting a ton of use from me this year that they wouldn't have gotten at all otherwise had I not realized how old they were. Well, except for Frida, because that was pulled into the whole collection project pan, which is random anyways. I had 2 more products left in amongst the 23, and in that video of planning I had proposed a couple of options and I let like viewers' choice, like everyone voted in the comments, and these 2 products had the most comments, and they are my oldest, actually I think this is second oldest in their respective categories. So I have my Ofra Makeup Fixer Setting Spray, and if you can tell from the markings here, this isn't a project. This is very slow moving. It has quite a fine mist, and this bottle has 8 fluid ounces, and for being as old as it is, it had gotten used before. It was only to here, and in 2 months we are down to here, and this is the only setting spray I'm using. So this is going to take a long time to go through, which is fine. It makes me feel like it's worth the money, though that was gifted to me. And my Cover FX Blurring Primer I've been working on in my Partners in Cream project pan, And once again, if you could tell by the lines, I have been using this. I've used this over 100 times now, and it is very close to being empty, which I feel really good about. Oh, I forgot one other thing. Just kidding, I forgot two things. The Bare Minerals pressed powder. This does not have pan or anything in it at the beginning of the year. Oop. And I have finished this year, which is amazing. So this is the one and only proper makeup empty in this project so far. And then I also put in my oldest blush alongside the Tarte Party blush, and I've actually been mixing these two a lot. This is the Model Co Peach Bellini. I do have a pan in this blush here in the corner. Well, not a corner because it's a circle, but on the edge, which is a very weird spot to hit pan, but here we are. And I am using this in my Graveyard Project pan as well. And when I need it to be a little less glowy, because this is quite an intensely glowy blush, I have been mixing it in with Tarte Party. That is all 23 products. This project's a lot to keep track of. I have so many makeup products in front of me. But yeah, the only product that I have actually emptied is this Bare Minerals powder. I have hit pan in this highlighter, which is great but not entirely the purpose of this project. I feel good about these two bronzers. I hit pan in the Super Shock Shadow, and a few of these things I'm working really hard on. This should be an empty very soon, which will be exciting. So that was a quick update, for the 23 makeup products I wanted to use in 2023. Overall, I feel like I'm not doing the best. So like I said, I'm going to keep them in this bin. And then, you know, when I roll in for Deck of Panning or my Rolling Project 10 pan, I should be pulling from this collection of products. And I'm glad I reminded myself of these and wish I had done it quarterly like I meant to. You'll have to let me know what you think I should roll into a project next. Like, what do you think I should be working on? Maybe let me know which of the palettes I should work on next when I'm done with my Tartelets Toasted and the two pans I want to hit in there. So a reminder, I have the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar, ABH Modern Renaissance, that's backwards, but I also have this face palette because I feel like if I hit two pans in this Tarte one, then that will be good for this project for this year, if that makes sense. But then I should turn my attention to one of these. I'm kind of leaning towards just knocking out Golden Ochre in my ABH Modern Renaissance and just like get that one more pan in this palette and then maybe call this good for the year. I feel like Golden Ochre and Vermeer are two I could hit pan on maybe if I wanted to hit the two. But then like out of these two, like I said, I'm feeling like I'm almost ready to retire this guy, so maybe I should pull in this one. I don't know. I should be working on all of these things and yet I'm not. And now I'm just rambling. So leave your comments and thoughts, opinions, all the things in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!